Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Yes, indeedy. That's just a suggestion, to email or call or whatever. And love to have you take me up on that.
Oh, no.
Susan!
What?
I didn't even introduce you and you're moaning on the program. Oh, no. Yeah, that's the first words we heard from you. What the hell is that about?
Because you're cutting out.
Ah, shit. I will take your oh, no and raise you an aw, shit. Okay?
Okay, you're a little bit better than you were last week, but it's...
Listen, stop drawing attention to our deficits. That's the first thing you do every time you're on.
Good morning. What a lovely day it is.
Thank you very much. It is. Here, too. There, too?
Well, actually, it's hot as blazes, but that's okay.
Okay, that's okay. It hasn't been, so that's fine. So I spent last night over at our lovely PNC ballpark.
Yes.
Rooting against your damn Cardinals.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
We won, I believe.
Yes, you did. You shouldn't have. We should have. We left too many people on base. God dang it. Anyway, yes. So, where to start here? Okay, I'm going to start with an interesting fact I learned while reading the newspaper today, Susan, and I don't know if you might have caught it as well. What's the difference between What's the difference between a white egg and a brown egg?
The color of the hen.
What do you mean?
Well, different hens have different feathers, different coloring, different beaks, and they produce different colored eggs. The different breeds produce different color eggs. On the inside, they're just the same. On the outside, they're different shells.
So, a white hen will give white eggs. A brownish colored hen will give brown eggs.
Well, and there are blue eggs.
There are blue
green eggs.
Yeah, right. This is all true. However, there is
almost pink eggs. The browns go into pink too.
I forgot that your sister and brother-in-law have chickens.
Several members of my family now have chickens.
So you wouldn't know. Okay, so that is correct. But here's what I want to tell you. Yeah, chickens are all the rage now. Urban chickens. So here's what I want to tell you, though. This was in the science section of the New York Times. And here's what it said in response to, is there any difference between white eggs and brown eggs, blah, 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 blah. And they go through a lot of stuff about amino acids and who knows what. Then they say, white feathered chickens with white earlobes lay white eggs. Red or brown chickens with red earlobes lay brown eggs. Earlobes! That's all I want to say. I brought this whole thing up to say, chickens have earlobes?
Yeah, I never looked at one that closely.
Well, wait, stop and think
of a chicken. It's the color of the earlobes that dictates?
Yes. Will somebody tell me? I didn't even know chickens had ears. Alone
Well, of course they have ears.
Well, they have ears,
hear.
but but they don't look like they're not readily apparent, are they? They don't announce themselves in any way.
Well, I'll tell you, when I get back to St. Louis, I'm running right over to my sister-in-law's house, and I'm looking at her chicken.
And try to locate an earlobe. And,
I will.
Okay, take a picture and send it to me. I am dying to
I will.
see a chicken's earlobe. There. So that's it. That was it's good to read. You learn things.
Well, yes. It's interesting to read. One does learn things.
Yeah, but the earlobe thing, I don't know. And then this other thing that won't get out of my head. We were talking last week. I think I was talking when Potter was on, and we were saying how there's new research on yawning and why, and blah, 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 blah. And it said that all species with a spine yawn, including fish. Anything with a spine yawns. And then I started to think, well, why would a fish, is a fish yawn like through its gills, or does it open its mouth?
And why is that a yawn?
What would a fish yawn be?
Getting air.
Well, this is what I want to know. What the hell is a fish yawn?
Or a snake yawn. Snakes yawn. They have spines.
Yeah, but they don't have. I'm more. I can understand. Snakes get oxygen by nostrils and opening their mouths.
Fish
right?
get it in their gills. Well, look it up.
Whoa! What am I?
Google it.
Google what? How do fish yawn?
Yeah.
Well, I can't. I'm doing a show right now. How do fish yawn? Oh, good. Jess is on it. I bet you won't find anything. How do fish yawn? This has been bothering me. Sleepless nights. Okay, because if they yawn, the new research shows that yawning is not about wanting more oxygen for your brain. It's about cooling your brain.
About what for what?
Cooling.
Yes,
getting its temperature down.
And in animals, in dogs, it's also just a displacement behavior. So if they're uncomfortable about like if you're paying too much attention to them and they're getting embarrassed, they'll yawn and look away.
Well, they get uncomfortable, I know. Well, that could be because stress, here's why. They're getting stressed. The stress heats their brain, and they yawn to cool it.
Okay.
Which gives it less of an anthropomorphic kind of a thing. They all of a sudden,
right.
They can't. If you Google how do fish yawn, you come up with butkus. Just want to tell you. If anybody can ascertain these, we're doing a little science here at the top. Okay?
See, but I disagree with what you just said about anthropomorphized, in it. It's not. It's just looking at it from different angles. Emotions create brain chemicals. Dogs have emotions.
Right.
They might.
That's what I'm saying. They're stressed.
So they do get embarrassed.
Well, I'm saying embarrassment, whatever. It's stress.
It is stress. It's
stress
whatever
less,
that emotion is.
That's a little
in a
less.
Dog, like in a human, will create a response with sometimes with the release of a substance in one's brain. That's absolutely correct.
Right. I'm just getting stuck on when you say embarrassed. Because that's very anthropomorphic. Whereas if you say stress, stress is less anthropomorphizing a way of saying it than you understand what I'm trying to say?
Well, then are you telling me that a dog's reaction to being alone all day and therefore stressed out is different than a dog's reaction from you talking to them and making them uncomfortable? It's just one reaction.
No. But different.
I'm serious.
No. I am too. Different thing. This is actually ultimately a silly conversation we're having. different kinds of stress. I mean, those are different kinds of stress. But they're both stress.
But they're different kinds of stress in humans, too. But they're both stress.
Okay.
But they are distinguishable by the stimuli.
Okay. How come so many conversations?
Isn't it fun? We can argue about anything.
I don't want to argue anymore. I don't. Okay, so...
We're just thinking, that's all.
Just thinking. But see, it's that kind of picky-unish kind of thinking that starts making my head hurt. And I'm going to have to yawn because it's getting heated. The brain. Okay, I see here, Susan, I don't know if you've got these wonderful new parking meters in St. Louis.
The kind that you can just, like, put a credit card into, or that you can read a sign and do them with your app?
No.
Okay, what kind are you talking about?
All right, there's no meters on the street anymore. What there is, and there's no spaces particularly. You park, and then you find the nearest pay station.
Box, yes.
And you have to input your license plate.
Mm-hmm.
And then tell them how long you want to pay for, right? And then you can put in coins or you can put in a credit card, yada, 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 yada. That's right. So it's produced a funny new kind of a site on urban streets where you see...
People running back and forth and trying to figure out what the license number is.
No, although that... At the beginning, that was true. I never knew a license number I had in my life. I do now. So it's people in sort of a crouch. They're bent over, and they're trying to read the screen. If the sun is on it, it's hard to see. They're trying to read the screen, and they're trying to... And so there's this, you see a lot of people sort of as a, just bent in what I would consider a stressful position. So I'm reading my local paper today, and it says that the parking authority here is about to settle a lawsuit brought by a woman in a wheelchair who says the parking meters are too tall, and she can't see them, and they
aren't compliant.
They're in violation of the ADA, which means they're going to have to be lowered. They're already... What about, I want to say... Is being a tall person a disability? Because I'm going to have to get on my knees to see these things now. Not that I want some kind of a fight between me and the disabled people in wheelchairs, but seriously. What about people with bad backs who can't bend any further down?
Well, then they've got a
No, they don't.
They have a recognizable complaint. If
it can't be more than...
the way they're doing it creates disabilities in people that were previously not disabled.
But then you see the absurdity of it all. So to make something more available to a disabled person, you make it more difficult for abled people.
Well, perhaps they can have a screen that raises and lowers.
Just something to break. I don't know. I'm sorry. I hate these things. I hate everything having to do with all of this. And I hate that whoever put them up didn't know that, it's not like it's something new, Americans with Disabilities Act. And so as a taxpayer here, I'm pissed off. If this is going to cost me money to lower all those damn things an inch or two.
Well, may I suggest that as long as they're already online and everything else, because that's how they're doing this, that they simply put up a sign with a number on it, and then you can use your cell phone to do it online.
We got a caller. Okay. That would be too progressive. Okay. I'm sorry. Not for Pittsburgh. Hello?
Hello. I solved the meter problem.
You have?
Yeah, it swivels. Swivels up and down.
But it doesn't.
Once this lawsuit goes, she gets $1 billion, they'll make them so that they swivel.
Yeah, but who's going to pay for making them that you have to swivel? Why didn't they swivel them before they did it?
Because nobody thought about it. Nobody saw a problem until somebody, this is a problem.
Nobody
you've been in checkout lines where you have to slide your card. That little card thing swivels. Didn't used to swivel.
Yes, it
Swivels
does.
now.
It swivels now. But it's not like the ADA is some newfangled law. I mean, any city or a parking authority putting in all new gizmos, I mean, that's like a first question to ask. Is it ADA, whatever you call that?
Wait a minute. Are you saying that a government entity thinks about the future?
I think
that doesn't happen.
You mean in an attempt to avoid wasting taxpayer money?
Exactly.
Oh,
that doesn't happen.
God in heaven.
And somebody like Diebold will build it, get a government contract, build a bunch of those things, and Diebold, rather, and, create jobs.
Well, I'm glad you're laughing. It annoys the hell out of me.
That's when you said, I said, how do you solve that? You can't have it like telescope. That's too difficult. But if it's swiveled, you even save the problem with the reflecting light and all that kind of good stuff, and the shade and the bending down. You just swivel it and rotate it, whatever, until the light's right, and put in your card and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I want to defend you on the anthropomorphic dog.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you two were focusing on stress when you were focusing on the word, what did you say they were?
Susan's word?
Yeah, Susan's word.
Was embarrassment.
Embarrassment, humiliation, yeah.
Yeah, that's anthropomorphizing. You don't know
That word is. But stress is not. It was a word thing.
Yeah,
right.
So sure, the dog is stressed, but why it's stressed? Is it embarrassed? I don't know.
Exactly. That's my argument.
Okay.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, look at the expression on the dog's face.
Susan, that's anthropomorphizing.
Even looking at the expression, dogs' muscles aren't the exact same as ours.
Right.
We're anthropomorphizing.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I have two dogs. They look almost identical. They even have blue eyes on the right and brown on the left. But one looks sad all the time. She has a sad face. And the other one looks crazy all the time. I don't know what the heck he's thinking.
That's right. My last dog, looks sad all the time.
Yeah.
And I hate to think that she was sad.
Yeah.
But that's what it looks like to us.
Yeah. She just has droopy eyes.
Yeah.
Even when she's running around and playing and done,
she looks
still
sad.
Looks sad.
Oh, sad. Oh. Give her a dog biscuit, will you?
I give her biscuits, that's
right.
like they go out and don't poop in my house treats are always biscuits. It doesn't matter. She even takes it, one grabs it out of my hand, the happy one, and she takes it out really slowly. Okay, I'll have a biscuit, sure.
She's like Eeyore.
Yeah, this is exactly right. She's very Eeyore-ish. Yeah. The other one's crazy. And their names are Bunny and Rabbit, by the way.
Bunny and Rabbit.
Bunny and Rabbit, yeah.
Which one's the sad one?
Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw. Well, thank you.
Okay, have a nice day.
You too. Bye. Roger writes, I was talking about this yawning stuff with my wife last week. We don't believe we yawn because our brain needs to cool down. Well, who appointed you a scientist? Wait a minute. I'm in a mood, aren't I? He says, we should be yawning machines then on hot days, and we exert ourselves physically. When I run races in the summer, shouldn't I see hundreds of runners yawning? They do say the research shows that people do yawn more in the summer than in the winter. I'm just saying. That's the science. That's the observable science. Also, it's you yawn because stress. Well, look, I can't answer that question. I don't know. Yes, all those guys running by in their shorts should be yawning. I don't know.
See, problem with this because what we naturally observe doesn't back up the research.
Right. Exactly. And they said yawn. Well, never mind. Who cares? So, I'm trying to figure out where I want to go here. Can I do one more? Oh, We have a caller. I have a rant I have to do. Caller, hi.
Hey, this is Mary. Remember, I'm starting my own airline for tall people.
Oh, yes. I like it. I like it.
It'll be called Mare Air. But anyway, about the meters.
Yeah.
It's taken a lot of joy out of my life because I'm really cheap, and I enjoyed getting extra meter time on somebody else's meter.
Yep.
So that's gone.
Yeah.
And I was down in the strip district, and I parked, and I was preoccupied, not paying attention. And I didn't think there was any meters, but there was, so I got a ticket.
Yeah.
So I'm sure revenue is up, and they're not going away.
Oh, no, I'm sure revenue is up, and they ain't going away, and we're paying for time we don't use, and there's no way to share it like you could with those tickets you used to get. If you were leaving, and you could say to somebody, hey, I've got this, and it's good for another 2 hours, and you stick that on your dashboard, and people would help people and do neighborly, random acts of kindness things, and now, I hate them.
Yep. And I can't imagine elderly people figuring that out.
I know. It's very complicated. I agree. It's just... Anyway. Mare Air. I'm on. If you get it off the ground, I'm on. Okay?
Cool.
Or I'm in. Bye.
I have to say the first, and every place in the country, these things are different.
Yes. They are.
And so they're different in St. Louis. They're different in Chicago. They're what you're describing describes one of the ways that they are in St. Louis. In St. Louis, there's 3 or 4 different kinds. But as I was saying before, I really do think that the smartest one, and again, it's going to be better for younger people because they're more adept at it, is the sign that I see on every street in Chicago. It just says, you download an app, and then you just type in your location, your address, and your thing on your phone,
And what? Uh-oh. Suze? Suze! What happened?
Can you not hear me?
No, you disappeared. Totally. Okay, so you said you type in this thing on your app, and then how do you pay?
You've linked it to a credit card.
Oh, okay. So you just,
right, and then from the moment you've linked it in, then the next time you just go in, you type in where you are and how long you want to be there, and you're done.
Well, here's the thing. So if you're traveling and you're a stranger in a city, and you try to park, be ready for a headache because the odds are you're not. It is troublesome. I see so many people bent over, peering helplessly into the screens of these things.
Well, but part of the problem is if it's not uniform across the country, then every time you go someplace new,
you got it. You don't know what to do.
So if you've got a box on a block, and I'm used to a meter with a credit card or something like that, I'll just walk away. I won't see the box.
That is correct. You know what? It's like you're in somebody's house, and their phone rings, and you can't figure out how to answer their phone, and you sure as hell can't.
Right?
And you sure as hell can't figure out how to turn on their television. That's not progress. You used to be able to answer anybody's phone. You used to be able to turn on anybody's television.
Yeah, no, televisions are almost impossible because everybody's got a combination of remotes that only they know the combination to.
You see, but that is bad. That is bad design. It is really bad design. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, it would be bad, but if you live in St. Louis, like where I live, nothing works anyway, so you won't know that you can't turn on your TV, and you don't have internet. Charter internet went out. Thank God I wasn't there. My phone's been out since July. So, what difference does any of it make?
Yeah. Ray writes that Pittsburgh is apparently getting a parking app soon, or not. So, this brings us from one vehicle to another. I want to go to bicycles, if you don't mind. On my way to the Cardinal Pirate game last night, I was driving down a Pittsburgh street, and ahead of me was a bicyclist. The bicyclist was in the center of the lane.
Yes.
Directly ahead of me, and and was not moving over. So my speed and all the cars behind me were going as fast as he was willing to pedal. And I said to my friend, probably shrieked, "Why the hell doesn't he move over?" And she said, "My understanding is he doesn't have to."
No, he doesn't have to, but he's an idiot.
No, he doesn't have to. So, in other
No,
words,
because
bicyclists...
he's entitled to the road.
So, bicyclists now, bicyclists who also are assholes, can impede everybody else's. This is what I was sort of angry about. So one woman in a wheelchair has a snit fit because she had probably, and then blah, blah, blah. And now all of us taller people are going to be scrunched down trying to. Now bicyclists are what?
Let me ask you a question. Was that bicyclist also obeying all the traffic signals?
I didn't. I wasn't. I did not. I couldn't tell.
Because if that bicyclist is going to take up all the whole lane,
then he better stop
at the stop signs.
Yeah.
And not giving themselves permission to disobey all the other laws.
Right.
Which they also do.
I have to tell you, I made a right turn to get away from him so that I could proceed at a reasonable speed.
Couldn't you lean out your window and yell, "If I have to share the road, so do you"?
Well, I must say that I did something sort of nasty. As I made my right turn.
Did you make a gesture?
No, I honked my horn.
Good.
Which did make him turn around. I didn't do anything else, but I was thinking, you jerk. He knew I was right. I mean, that's jerky. There was room for all of us if he just... And what's happening is Pittsburgh's becoming a bicycle-friendly town. Bicycle-friendly town. And that means that the roads, what used to be a 2-lane road, 2 lanes in one direction, they're now turning into 1 lane. And if this is supposed to...
Right, and a bike lane.
And if this is now supposed to make all of us what? Shelve our cars and get on bikes? It ain't going to work. Pittsburgh is not an easy place to bike in because of the hills. If it was flat, I might be willing to get back on a bike. But so we go from where bikers are at risk constantly to now this thing where they get to do whatever they damn well please and the people in cars are being screwed.
Right. Didn't I ever tell you that I chased down a woman once who was... at the bottom of my street, there's a 3-way stop, and to my right.
Oh yeah, you did tell me this.
Is a large hill.
Yeah.
And I came to the stop sign. I looked to my right, and I saw a middle-aged woman on a bicycle, and I could see her pedaling down the hill. So I knew that she had no intention of stopping. She was going to blow through that sign.
Yes.
Which, of course, she did.
Right.
And I followed her, and I pulled her over.
You pulled her? How did you made a citizen's arrest?
I pulled my car in front of her, and I said, "Don't you do that again. I don't want to kill you. If you're riding on these streets, you stop at the stop sign. I don't care if you like going fast down the hill." And I told her she was old enough to know better and to cut it out.
So I should have come. I should have gone around this guy. Although apparently he was within his rights. So
he was within his rights. She wasn't.
Right. Well, but I'm sorry. You have to be an asshole. Excuse me. Just excuse me. Really pissed.
No, bikers very loudly proclaim their rights to the road. And I'm happy to share the road with them as long as they're obeying all the signals.
And he was not.
And bikers don't even realize that. They don't. I mean, I've talked to a friend of mine who when I told him when this happened, because I was so outraged, I was just angry.
Because you could have killed her.
I don't want to kill anybody.
Yeah, right. Oh God.
And bikers are always, there's a lot of bikers that get hurt, and they don't want to get hurt. So we all got to do the same thing, which is follow the rules.
And yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. This guy was a
Well,
jerk.
yeah, I really think bicyclists get themselves confused with pedestrians. Now, pedestrians have the right of way no matter what.
Right. They're always in the right, even if they're
It doesn't
jaywalking.
matter where the pedestrian is.
Wait.
If you're in a car.
Wait. That cannot be true, because the colleges are back. All the kids, Oakland, the Oakland neighborhood is just teeming with people now, and I have almost killed 3 people in the last 2 days. These are friggin' the idiots of youth. They have come running out from between parked cars, so they were not visible at all, in the middle of the street. Bang! Right in front of me.
That would be legally contributory negligence, but the way the law reads is if you're in a car, you always have to yield to a pedestrian.
Well, what if you never saw them until they're in front of your car? Well,
no,
then
if you were to be sued, your defense would be that they were contributing to their own
demise,
problems by doing that. But it would be a shared responsibility in that case, and you would still have some responsibility.
That is such bull. If that's what the law is, that is crap. This guy was totally it's as if, poof, there he was. There was no indication there was a human being there.
Well,
right out in front of my
the
car.
person might lose the case. I mean, the jury might decide no. That was just the very definition of an accident, and there was no way that person could have avoided it.
And see what these people...
In those situations, as the driver, I would sue the person.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I wanted to kill him. I did. I mean, I thought, thank God I didn't kill him. Now let me kill him. Because my heart was pounding, my legs, went... I was... Jeez. And I've had 2 other incidents like that since these kids have come back. They're just fools.
Well, no, and it is. I mean, that's why, it's exactly why I yelled at the woman on the bike. How dare you
make me a murderer?
In a position where I could have killed you.
I could have killed you. You could have ruined my life, too, you idiot.
Right.
Because, I mean, that would ruin my life if I killed somebody.
It would ruin my life,
That's right.
too. So I decided to yell at her instead.
Oh! All right. I think I'm done squawk. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I have one other thing to squawk about here, Susan. You know my love for the big hospital behemoth here, UPMC.
The wonderful not-for-profit.
That's right. Well, there's a front page story about UPMC. And here's a quote from one of the UPMC's big mucky mucks. This will bring multi-millions per year over a 5-year period, and we're not making any investment. All of this money is coming in our direction. I'm thinking, oh, yes, spoken like a nonprofit. Here's what he's talking about. UPMC has announced that they are now establishing they are going to help establish a 200-bed hospital in some place in China. And this will add to their international presence. They've got places in they've got places in Kazakhstan, in Singapore, in India, Japan, Italy, Ireland, Germany. This doesn't seem like a nonprofit in any way. So it says here that it's expanding its global reach. Now, this is the kind of thing you say about a behemoth corporation, right?
Right, a big multinational corporation.
Right. And then it says that UPMC will help establish this hospital, and it will serve as an advisor to the Chinese management. And I'm thinking, so here are the most rapacious, capitalist, greedy SOBs with no hearts. And they're going to go over and show the Chinese, here's how you be greedy capitalist while pretending you're not. The Chinese will eat this up because they don't want to admit they're capitalists. So They can pretend they're still like socialistic or communistic and learn how to be greedy jerks like UPMC, which pretends to be a charity.
Well, but in China, which pretends to be communist, because the only people that are communist are the poor people, and the rich people who are their 1% are definitely capitalist.
You know what? I read the other day, though, that the Chinese rich and the Chinese smart people that are educated, they're leaving in droves. And you know why?
Yeah, they're afraid, right?
Well, it's not that they're afraid. The corruption of the government is just they can't deal with anymore. And two, they don't want to live in this polluted, they don't want to breathe the air.
No.
They're leaving. So China's in for some difficulties if it can't hold on to its best and brightest by virtue of the fact that they're fouling their own nest. Anyway, UPMC and the Chinese, to me, that's perfect. That's just perfect. Okay, Ray writes, I agree that we should share the road, provided the bicyclists agree to all the laws. Exactly. Oh, he goes further, including safety inspections and insurance minimums, and receive equal police enforcement. I have no problem explaining to them if they hold up the traffic, but then blow past us at a light, that I have plenty of liability coverage and will win the contest without any guilt. Well, I don't know about that. So he's saying what you're saying. All right.
Yeah, there's nothing that aggravates automobile drivers more than sharing the road generously and then having the driver the bicyclist basically, giving him the finger as he blows by him at the stop sign.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. Oh, man.
Stupid, and it's rude.
I'm going to start letting air out of their tires.
Well, there's a lot of bicyclists that do it right. I got kids that are bicyclists that do it right, and by the way, that have been hit by cars.
I know.
Who then tried to avoid it. He had to chase them for a year before they owned up to the fact that they rear-ended him, who was stopped at a stoplight.
Well, that's what you get for following the rules.
Well, I'm
you get
just
rear-ended by a
car.
car.
To all of this.
Oh, dear. So anyway, the bikers are I'm angry at them. This guy really, really got me angry. But whatever. Jess, I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break and do some yawning and cool my brain down. I think it's a little stressed.
Yeah?
Yeah, soothe it?
Yeah.
Isn't that making you yawn?
Were you yawning?
Ah, jeez. I made Jess yawn. Ha ha. How many of the rest of you did I make yawn?
Obviously not me. I wasn't looking at you, so I didn't know you were yawning.
I thought you could hear it. Okay. Anyway, sometimes just talking about it, thinking about it, just sort of makes you, oh my God, try not to yawn. We're going to take a break.
I want you to know that I can suppress yawns, and it was my experience on the school board where the meetings take 8 hours.
No, they say that it's impossible to suppress a yawn.
And you have to look really, interested and engaged the whole time.
Yes, I understand. I have a great interested... Jess yawned again. I have an interested, engaged face that I use for meetings, too, especially when they're doing financial reports. Oh, all right. We're I'm
so unsurprised. Yes.
We're taking a break, so I can yawn.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Bargains.com is your best bet for great deals in the Berg. Log on today for exclusive bargains from Round Corner Cantina, Wing Arts, Verde, the Pittsburgh Grill, and Garden Dreams Urban Farm. BergBargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains. BergBargains.com.
Hey, Billy, want to go to the state fair?
Yeah!
Well, you can't.
Huh?
Well, you see, Billy, when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have done with it. But now your parents are becoming energy efficient. They could save hundreds of dollars a year and take you to the fair next year.
I want to go now.
Oh, I know you do. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Download the brand new.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Okay. Ansel writes, Pennsylvania has a law called the Safe Passing Law. Essentially, it says every car that passes a bike must give a minimum of 4 feet of clearance at a prudent, reduced speed. But that means crossing over into the oncoming traffic lane.
It means crossing a double yellow line into the oncoming traffic to get around it. That's right.
Whoa. All right. That right there doesn't make any sense to me at all. Okay, 2. It is legal to cross this. 2. It is legal, then, to cross the center double yellow line, if necessary, to provide the required 4 feet when passing an annoying bicycle, if you judge that it is safe to do so. And number 3, no turn by a motorist may interfere with a bicycle proceeding straight. In other words, you can't make a right turn and almost kill the bicyclist, right?
Right.
Bicycles
or a left.
Right. Bicycles may
You have to allow for that bicyclist who wants to turn left and has thusly signaled to get into the left turn with you and to, go.
Okay, well then, wait. So it says bicycles may be operated at a safe and reasonable speed appropriate for bicycles. Here's the thing. Okay, unless making a left turn, bicycles must be operated in the right-hand lane or as close as practicable to the right-hand curb or edge of the roadway. That seems to suggest that this jerk was in the wrong.
Right.
He was right in the middle of the road. There were parked cars that he could have gotten closer to without endangering himself with, opening doors and God knows what. Because I agree, it's a dangerous thing to be on a bike with cars around. But it's also a dangerous thing to be on a bike and annoy the drivers of the cars enough that if one's having a really bad day, they might decide to just run you over.
Well, here's the thing. I have to say, there was a story in St. Louis a couple of weeks ago where the mayor of one of our little towns, Sunset Village, I think deliberately knocked a bicyclist off his bike.
Wow.
Got mad at him and deliberately nudged him and knocked him over and hurt the guy. And it was in the news. So, people get very aggravated on both sides, but I had to hand it to the mayor. That was a little out there.
Well, we've heard of road rage. Certainly bicyclists have heard of road rage. Well, they ain't immune.
No, clearly whoever this bicyclist was, why can't I say that
bicyclist,
word?
Bicyclist.
The person riding the bicycle was, he did something to that guy that so enraged him.
Yeah. Well,
didn't excuse what the guy did, but
So, Suze, the other day we were talking about how Americans are the most overworked people, or maybe first world overworked people there are. And how we don't take vacations, and how we don't get the kind of sick leave or personal leave, and how stupid and short-sighted this is. But this is the American corporate model. Use them up, wring every last possible thing out of them, and throw them out. That's
right, because there's more where they came from.
That's right. This is now the new corporate ethic in American capitalism. And if you think it's not, just stop an average American worker and ask. So I come upon this. Is it Daimler or Daimler, the German car maker?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's Daimler-Benz, even though I always said Daimler. Whatever. They have instituted an automatic program for all their employees, which the minute an employee goes on vacation, get this, all of the incoming emails to that employee's mailbox are deleted.
They're just deleted? They don't get...
No, it says they're deleted.
Else?
It says they're deleted. So they are not tempted to even look at their business emails while they're on vacation.
Well, I mean, I get the point, but I'm sure that those emails are redirected to somebody who isn't on vacation.
Okay,
and
maybe.
Deleted from their box.
Okay. But it says deleted here. Okay, right, maybe. Can you imagine an American corporation instituting such a thing? That you are not allowed to do a damn thing that is related to your work here while you are on vacation? We were talking...
There are very few corporations that make a point of this, and that really do, but most of them are very cynically going to a different system, and it's a system based on the fact that people are afraid to even use the vacation that they have. So even if there's a policy that says you have 20 days and we'll pay you if you don't use them, people will, for whatever reason, might not use all the vacation days. And then, or they'll go to the system where you can have as many vacation days as you want as long as you have your work done. But people don't take it because they're simply afraid.
Well, so in the European model, you have to go. They want you out because they understand that a well-rested employee is a better employee. And American corporations are just so ugly. They're ugly. It is an ugly, nasty model. It's what I call it's just this constant rapaciousness of corporate America. It does say here, Susan, the program politely informs a sender that their message was instantly deleted, but that they can, if they want, contact a designated alternate worker. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so they've got it covered.
Okay.
Well, I think that's very smart. I think this December when we all tune in to watch the annual viewing of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, there it is.
That it's not such an amusing story anymore.
No, because
now it's the tale of the United States.
Exactly, and the American worker. Excuse us. Anyway, it says that was a call that didn't come in. We thought it was there. So they say European corporate trend now is exactly in the opposite direction of where America is. And they call it data detox. And they have all kinds of programs to cut back on evening emails, weekend emails, vacation emails. Even the governments are God. Poor America. Hello?
How you doing?
I'm okay.
I had to make a quick comment and get out of your hair. I just want to say that you're talking about the workload and all that. I'm thinking about the middle class, which I read a study. They said, you know who to blame the dying middle class from? Is the middle class for voting these conservative Republicans with their policies. They took a study in these states that are poor and they're middle-class workers. They vote Republican. So look in the mirror when you pissed off at the middle class is dying, because that's the main reason, besides the rich corporations. But we keep voting these damn bastards in. The country does.
Well, you ain't in my hair saying what I think is absolute truth. You're saying, look in the mirror, if you vote for Republicans, you're destroying the middle class. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely right. I mean, we've known this as Missouri's a prime example of this. You just a state without Medicaid, a state with a huge problem of unemployment, a state that is falling apart. And what do? St. Louis and Kansas City can put our statewide and national people as Democrats some of the time. But every single municipality is all Republican, and all the state legislators are all Republican.
Well, I think we're seeing that all around. And it's, you know why? Because they tell people, we won't ask anything.
Lies.
We won't ask anything of you. We will not tax you. So while our infrastructure crumbles or we sell it to a rich capitalist endeavor, don't worry, we'll have no taxes, and consequently, you'll have no services. And I don't know. It's beyond me.
Right. And no one bothered to tell these people that they wouldn't be paying any taxes anyway, even if they had them, because they aren't going to have any jobs. It's just all ass backwards. I mean, the fact of the matter is that if we have a place where people are employed and are generating taxes, everybody does better, not worse.
I know. What's so hard to understand?
Paying taxes is an indication of well-being. A high-class problem, as our grandmother used to say.
Yeah, it's a high-class problem. But a lot of people, Susan, they don't agree anymore, and they're certain that they are right. Hey, speaking of Republicans blowing tax dollars, they say they don't want to spend money unwisely. I just saw this, and it boiled my blood. So Boehner, the orange man, is suing the president, the brown man, right? He's going to sue the president. For what? It's unclear, but he's suing him. This lawsuit will go absolutely nowhere. But when the speaker...
No, they're suing the president because they think they'll look less foolish
than trying to impeach him.
Trying to impeach
right,
him.
I know.
They got to do something.
That's right. They got to do something. So, in order to sue the president, the Speaker of the House, that'd be the orange man, John Boehner, has to get a lawyer. Well, he got a lawyer. And actually, this is a low fee, as far as I know, of some of these rapacious lawyers. He's got a lawyer who is getting $500 an hour to sue President Obama. And
now, wait a minute. And the taxpayers are paying for this.
Yes, of course. That was the next point.
Well, you said John Boehner got a lawyer. I want to make
No.
clear
He got
that
a
John Boehner
lawyer.
ain't paying for
Yes,
the lawyer.
right. He got a lawyer, and the bill's coming to us. This is how Republicans wisely spend your money. Some lawyer is going to be enriched in this absurd attempt at our expense. We're going to pay this guy to sue the president.
And he's laughing all the way. I'm surprised he's only charging $500 in Washington.
Well, the last time Boehner, as far as I know, hired a lawyer at our expense was again in a total, lost cause, but to make a point, when he got a lawyer to defend what the Supreme Court found unconstitutional, the Defense of Marriage Act, DOMA. And when Boehner hired a lawyer to defend what was, it turns out, indefensible, we paid for that. And you know how much we paid for that? Almost.
Yeah, I don't even want to guess how much.
Almost $2.5 million.
I guess I should have maintained my practice.
No, you would, because that's like being one of the bad guys. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do it. So, I watched some of Michael Brown's funeral. I watched Al Sharpton's speech, which was eulogy, which was...
Yeah, and?
He's good. Sorry, he is one hell of a talker. I thought it was really good. But I was reading, and I can't remember where I read it. Somebody, and it was in the Washington Post, wrote about how Black America is always looking for the perfect black victim. Michael Brown was not the perfect black victim, it turns out, because as we know, the minute a black person is denied their civil rights, the powers that be attempt to make the victim into the criminal, right? Because
of course, it's like when a woman is raped. Right.
That's right, because these are not perfect people. And apparently, according to some folks thinking, that if you're not a perfect person, police can summarily execute you in the middle of the street, in the middle of the day.
And lay there for 4 hours.
Right. So it's sort of like the thugification of any poor victim who happens to be black. They're immediately tarred, feathered, and essentially lynched. Even though they may be dead, it's quite all right because they have to be taken down. And what was pointed out as a part of history, this guy points out a part of history that very few people know, I think. I learned about it by watching that, what I think is a very funny show called Drunk History, which is on, what is that, on Comedy Central?
Yeah.
Yeah, Drunk History. But it is that the civil rights icon, Rosa Parks, she was the perfect victim, right? She was the perfect victim. She looked right. She was dignified. She was soft-spoken. She was older.
No, she was an activist for much of her life.
Right. But this is how things play. It turns out 9 months before Rosa Parks got herself arrested, a young teenage girl named Claudette Colvin sat on a bus in the same town and in the same wrong section, went into the white section and sat down. And she was promptly arrested. She was 15 years old. No one knows her name. She actually was part of a lawsuit that, in fact, helped to, that made its way through the courts. But she was not going to be a good victim, the person to pull this off. She was too young. She was 15. And, a young black person being
right
like that is just, sorry, that doesn't play as well. Also, it was mentioned she was dark-skinned. Rosa Parks, very light-skinned, okay? Also, after she refused to give up her seat, after she was arrested, months after, she became pregnant. So this is why we can't have a 15, 16-year-old single pregnant girl. She was the one. She was the first one. Claudette Colvin should be a name we all know because she did 9 months before Rosa Parks did the same thing. She was the first. But Rosa Parks was the perfect victim. I think that's I think that's fascinating.
But it's the way things work, marketing. Marketing, even
right.
though it didn't exist, in the form that we know it today, it's all that. It's
right.
all PR. It's how can we best present a case that nobody can argue with.
That's correct.
And so that stuff is always going to happen.
So unless the cops gun down a choir boy, Eagle Scout, I don't know what, a black kid next, every effort will be made to take the Eagle Scout down too. I don't know. But I think we should know that name. Claudette.
There's a lot of names we all should know.
Ho. Yeah. So, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I think that's it, Susan. So you're on the road today? Or you're in the air?
When I hang this up, I am
on the road,
taking my suitcase out to my car and getting back on the road.
Heading home to the lovely town of St. Louis, which has been much in the news.
Yes, and which I have managed to avoid for most of this month.
Well, I have to tell you, and I'm
going to go sit there for a while.
Okay. Check out the front page of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch this last Sunday. Will it be at
Okay.
This Sunday, like 2 days ago.
Okay.
Sunday, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. It's, I think, I just think it's brilliant what they did. Will you check it out?
Yes, I will.
Can
you give me a hint?
It's simply a graph, a chart, a bunch of squares in which they have put all of the inner city suburbs from Belle Noire to Woodson Terrace in each box, and then put percentage of the population that is African American, percentage of the police force that is African American. Two numbers in each box. It's mind-blowing. I give you, for one, Riverview. 70% of the Riverview's population is black. You know how many blacks on the police force?
0.
Exactly. Hazelwood, 30% black. Well, they actually have 3%.
Yep.
But I mean, there's only one community with parity that has, in fact, the same amount of police on the force as representative of the number of African Americans in the population of the town. And that, not surprisingly, is University City.
Right.
Because that's
which is a totally different
right, which is a totally
suburb.
different entity by virtue of being where Washington University.
Well, it's not
the
where
area
Washington University
around.
is. It's adjacent to Washington
Adjacent
University.
to it,
right.
Exactly. But
it's certainly the neighborhood.
Right. So this is...
Yeah, I mean, listen, anybody that lives in St. Louis knows this to be true. Anybody that lives in St. Louis who doesn't admit that it is one of the most racist places ever is simply not paying attention.
Exactly. Oh, boy. Well, so back you go. Sorry.
All right. Well, here I go.
Drive carefully. Don't
Thank
kill
you.
any motor.
I won't. I'll
Don't
look
kill
out
any...
for bicyclists on the interstate.
Look out for... I guess they can't be on the interstate, can they?
No.
Okay, good. Yes, but don't run over any on your way to the interstate and or pedestrians darting out between cars as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Be very careful.
Okay.
All right, Suze, thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okie doke. Let's kill our Cardinals tonight. Damn it. I'm going to go look for a better mood. And I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Toodaloo.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.